So, welcome to week 34. We are going to be talking about emotional issues around going back to school. And, the same would apply the trapped emotions for starting a new job, for if we think of the animal world, maybe animals are learning some new training, they're misbehaving and they're having somebody in to teach them how to do different things and behave, or maybe it's a new position, or maybe it could be somebody like I have a little granddaughter going into grade 1. She's all excited, but since I am an ex-school teacher, I know that not everybody is excited that first day, regardless of the age. But we're going to be working with a 17-year-old, and those can be very traumatic years for them. So I'm Dana J. Smithers. I will be talking about the law of attraction. I'm a certified law of attraction coach as well, and I'm going to talk about the vibrational bubble and what goes into that and how it affects people and even animals. And like Helena, we are both certified emotion code practitioners, and we both studied under Dr. Bradley Nelson. This is his book, The Emotion Code, which you can buy. There's lots of case studies in it. There's lots of information about what we're going to be talking about today as well. And so let's just go ahead and Helena, you introduce yourself, and then for first-time viewers, we'll just go over the steps that we do when we're doing an emotion code.
Good morning, Dana. I am Helena Janikin. I'm a certified emotion code practitioner as well as a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I help people, men and women, release excess weight, overcome fears, anxieties, phobias, as well as I help people stop smoking with my hypnosis and emotion code program. And I'm known as the StopSmokingLady.com. But today we're going to be talking about the emotion code. And Della, shall we go over the steps that we do?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that for sure. So the first thing, we're working with someone today, and actually the mother has stepped forward. So it's a little bit different. So the first thing that we have to ask the mother on behalf of the daughter is what we call permission.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's right. So I received a message yesterday from our Facebook post that there was a mother out there that wanted us to work on her 17-year-old daughter, and she's given permission, and she could do that because she is the guardian. She's the legal guardian for the daughter.
Exactly. Oops, sorry, just checking to see if we're live, and we are.
We are. We've got people watching too.
Yeah, which is just great. All right, so we've got her permission, and the next thing that we're going to do, since if Helena and I were working on the person, neither of us are in person with this person, so we become what we call their proxy.
We become their proxy, and so what I will be doing today, I'll be doing the emotion code session on the 17-year-old, that I will be able to tap into her subconscious mind directly and ask yes or no questions. I have now permission to ask the subconscious mind directly.
Exactly. And so whether we're doing something by phone, or it could even be FaceTime, it can be Skype, it can be a program like this. It doesn't really matter, even, in fact, if we're in real time with them. We can do it. Sometimes we'll get check-ins with an email with somebody needs a little check-in or something. And as long as we have their permission, we become their proxy. And the whole goal is to release the trapped emotions, because, we're today talking about somebody being afraid of going to school. There's lots of different reasons for it, but it's all based on the behavior that's being acted out is based on those trapped emotions. So then the next question that we need to know, and we'll check, the client has told us it's a 10 in terms of severity, but what will you do, Helena?
I will double check when I've tapped into her subconscious mind the level of severity. So the goal is I'll find out what it is, and then my intention is to lower that severity, lower that number, and perhaps even get it to a 0.
Exactly. And the way that we're going to do that is what Dr. Bradley Nelson teaches us, which is muscle testing.
Mm.
Because the subconscious, once we tap into that, the subconscious knows what's going on. The conscious mind might be at an intellectual level, whatever, this is the reasons or whatever. But again, we always have to go down into that subconscious because that's where the emotions are residing. So the muscle testing for you looks a little bit different than mine. And what does yours look like?
So I have an agreement with my subconscious mind that when I put these fingers together and link them together and think of the word yes, my fingers link together and they're just solid. And when I think about the word no, they just fall apart. They just pull apart ever so gently. So that's a yes and this is a no.
Exactly. And so mine's a little bit different. Sometimes I do use a pendulum. If somebody's here, I will actually use a pendulum and just test their chakras to see what's open. And I find that's very effective. And sometimes that can help me just, zone in and hone in on one particular thing. But my muscle testing, if I'm doing it and I want it to be quick, I like the pendulum, but it's a little slow for me. So I put my index and thumb together, take my other two fingers, index and middle finger, and that's a no, and that's a tight yes for me. So as Helena said, we only get yes or no answers. We're not psychic, although some practitioners could be, but we are very intuitive, meaning that we're very in tune. Both Helena and I do a connection prayer before we start to work with somebody so that, our mind's not trying to think of ideas or give advice or anything. What we're doing is looking to find out what trapped emotions there are, and there's 60 of them that Dr. Bradley Nelson has narrowed down into this chart. So we're going to ask, is it in column A or is it in column B? And then, Helena, what do? We go down, let's say it's...
We'll go down, so I'll ask column A, column B, and then I'll ask if it was in an odd row or an even row, and we'll get down to a cell of 5 different emotions. And then we ask individually, is it this one, that one, and so forth.
Exactly.
And so which one it is.
Right. And so those emotions, Helena and I have lemons. And the reasons that we use the lemon is because, according to Dr. Nelson, and he's the expert in this, he's been doing this for a very, very long time, that these trapped emotions can be as small as a lemon or even as big as a cantaloupe. So they literally, remember, this is energy. So imagine that it's, it's very small and all of that. It's energetic ball that's in there. But that's where the physical pain comes from. So, you could have a shoulder pain, you could have chest pains, even pain in your legs, in your knees. Read something recently about pain in the knees, metaphysically can be resistance to change and old age. So people that get that. So again, it's emotional, right? They're emotions that are trapped in the body, and they can be, we use a lemon just to represent that. So what we're going to do when we remove those emotions is we're going to use a magnet.
Magnets. These are my magnets for today. Very strong magnets. They intensify the intention to release the emotions, and also they cancel out, because it's energy, it cancels out the energy that's popped out of the physical system once it's been named into the energetic system outside the body. And then we do this motion here, and we do this motion here 3 times if it belongs to the person, because the Chinese they found out many years ago, over 2,000 years ago, they mapped out the energy centers in the body, and this is what they call the governing meridian. Starts underneath the nose and goes all the way down to the tailbone. Right. So by doing that, we're affecting all the energy centers in the body, releasing the emotion.
Right, and so what we're doing, because energy is magnetic, so we're just having those emotions come up. And remember that everything is intention. Helena and I don't see an emotion pop out and it doesn't have a name attached to it, but we trust that we set that intention before we start working with someone. Like intention is everything, whether you're doing, like I'm learning Reiki, I'm also learning animal Reiki. Everything is intention and everything is energy.
Mhm.
So when we do this and all the meridians, and mainly we work with the 7 chakras, but there's actually hundreds of different chakras in our body, but most energy workers start with those. And then we find out, is there something, when Helena is going to do the session today, she'll find out, does she have to ask more questions around something? So we may get an emotion that pops up that will release, but we release it. If we get a no, then we're not going to do this because that's not what it's saying to us. We're going to have to dig a little bit deeper with that. So, right. And then the most important thing, whether any type of energy healing that you're doing, hello. And, this is just good health anyway.
I find that after the session, I drink at least another glass of water right afterwards.
Yes.
And my clients often say too that they're finding themselves thirstier and hydrating because energy is moving.
Exactly. It just clears things out, and it's good for all of us, to drink a lot of water because we've got so many toxins in our body and, emotions as well. So we just keep flushing those things out. So Helena, before we start the session and you give us a little bit, let's just say hello to a few people.
Yes. And today, Natasha Paula Samuel from Runford, Essex.
That's right, yeah. Hi, Natasha, always a pleasure. And we've got Chris Coutinho. Thanks, good morning. Able to see us live today, which is good. Remember that this show is recorded, so you can always share it with other people as well. And Kelly Mae Glover is saying good morning. Nice to be back and see us. So thanks so very much for that, Kelly Mae. So Helena, tell us a little bit about what you'll be doing, who you're working on, what are some of the behaviors or symptoms that are showing up, and then I'm going to talk about the vibrational bubble.
Certainly. So I'm working on a young lady. She's 17. She is she's going back to school, and she started, I believe, yesterday. And it's her anxiety about going to school is a 10, is on the severity scale. Yeah, and it's showing up in tears, insomnia, as well as just stubbornness, nervousness, and just really uncomfortableness. And this is not the first time. So it's a common, it's happened before. And so I'm going to be working on her energetically with the permission of the mother, and seeing what I can release today so she can have more gentle experience at school.
Yeah, and not be so stressed out and not have that fear.
Yeah.
Right? There's so much fear there. So you go ahead, Helena. I'm going to go ahead and talk about some law of attraction. From a law of attraction perspective, what's going on here. So, you just heard us say that everything is energy, and that's the trapped emotions are energetic, and they're the negative trapped emotions that we want to be released. So from a law of attraction perspective, we all have around us what's called a vibrational bubble. So you could think of this, you can think of this as your aura. You can think of this as just a big bubble around you, which actually goes out to about 6 feet around your body. People feel that. They can step into that. You probably notice that when you go into a room of strangers or people that you know, how energetically you're either attracted or repelled from them. Well, that's because of what's going on in their vibrational bubble. So whether it's a person or an animal, we all carry negative trapped emotions. So these emotions can play out they can look like behavioral issues, things being acted out. With young people, it might be making a lot of noise or seeking a lot of attention. It could be any kinds of things. It could be someone going the opposite way. Someone could feel very depressed and want to hide a lot. So that's a behavior that's not really very functional or very healthy. Another thing that goes on when we're seeking to find these emotions that gives us clues are to find out if there's anything physically going on. So when, as Dr. Bradley Nelson always says, that we are not here to cure anything. We don't cure disease. However, we do help release trapped emotions. So we work on that very energetic, emotional level. And I've been working with some animals lately, and one thing I will always ask is what are the physical symptoms? Because we need to know that. In fact, I've been working with my own cat who's displaying a little bit of odd behavior, and I'm trying to find out what's going on, doing a little bit of emotion code. But I decided to take her to the vet because she's doing something that could have something to do with her bladder. I'm not sure about that. So we often, emotional practitioners work in conjunction with someone else. So if there is a real physical symptom going on, we are going to suggest that, have a look at that, have that get taken care of from perhaps the medical, naturopath, whatever group you like to work with. But we deal with the emotional part, and these emotions are what is trapped inside this vibrational bubble. So when someone may be, in this case, we're working with the daughter of somebody. However, it's the same with animals. Animals pick up what's going on with their owners. And often you will find that something that is happening with the animal is also showing up physically going on with the owner. I think the term for it is entrainment, where somebody picks up on somebody else's energy and they start to have the same symptoms or show the same things. So in the case of this, where the mother's concerned about the daughter, the mother's energetic bubble or this vibration, whatever she's putting in there, because everything goes in it, nothing's left out, right? Whatever you're thinking or saying, whatever's going on for the mother is actually being transferred to the daughter as well, and vice versa. So what's going on with the daughter will go over to the mother, and the mother to the daughter. So it can go back and forth, which is why it's so important to, if you're the person observing this, for you to be calm and also to perhaps get some help with an emotion group session as well, because we both want to get those trapped emotions released, and we need to get you into a peaceful state. And then the vibrational bubble will have more quieter, more peaceful, calming thoughts going on, so that yes, you are passing these back and forth. You can certainly shield yourself. We do this in meditation. Helena and I do this, especially when you're working a lot with other people. We have to do what's called ground and shield. So we want to make sure that we're protected. It's kind of called a protective bubble, but if you don't know about that, then whatever's going on can be just passed back and forth with, as I say, the animal guardian, and the animal goes back and forth, or it can be from person to person. So whatever's going on in a family, whether somebody's starting a new job, somebody's going back to school, somebody's learning a new position, any and all of those things can affect what's going on in your vibrational bubble, and that resonates out in the home as well. And so, it's super important to everyone being mindful, right? We always talk about that in the law of attraction. Be mindful of what your words are and your thoughts and the vibration that's going out from that. So, Helena, it looks like you've wrapped that up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. It didn't take too long, and I've gone from a 10 severity, and she's down to a 2,
Okay.
and it said that's enough. That's enough for right now. And so what's going to happen is what we call processing. So the body, the soul, the mind is just going to, it's been releasing some emotions, detoxing, and so the body needs a little bit of rest. So mom might find that her daughter's a little bit more tired after school, or sometimes even the opposite is energy, because once you dumped and released emotions that you've been, or baggage that you've been carrying around for a long time, you might find yourself with some more energy. So the very first emotion that I released was shock. And the answer, it was interesting. Sometimes answers come a little more softly. This one was very intense shock. And then the next one was low self-esteem, helplessness, and then dread. And dread was quite strong again.
Yeah, I can feel the heaviness of that.
Yeah, it really is interesting, this dread. And that was released. And then the fifth and final emotion that was released was disgust. Although what was really interesting is I had to find out more information. So it said, can I release it? No. Do I need more information? Yes. And so I found that the emotion was actually trapped while the child was in the mother's womb in the third trimester. It was not though, and it was her absorbing an emotion not from the mother but from the father. So there was something going on in the father's life during that time. There was disgust. I'm not sure what that was about. And once we released that, then it said, that's it. That's no more. We're good for today.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting as people carrying around a feeling and they're not sure where it's coming from. It may not even be theirs.
Right. So when it comes to an inherited emotion, it's interesting because it can happen, and Dr. Brad says it's often in that third trimester that, and it can be inherited from generations and generations and generations. So when we do the swipe of the magnet, we do it 10 times to release a lot of that. Yeah, you're in a sunny place there. I can see that. How nice though, right?
I know.
Yeah.
The sun is following me around and it's like, where do I go?
Yeah. So with those emotions that you released, they were fairly strong ones. And as Helena said, now we have to let the processing go on, right? So it's the same with people or animals. When we do this work, and whether, Helena's doing, hypnosis, not the one session of stop smoking, but when she's working in longer programs, right? We do the work to the best of our ability and for the highest good of all concerned, but we have no way of knowing how that's going to play out, right? And sometimes things might even get a little bit worse, or sometimes people actually feel sick from after a session. I know I've had a gal that sometimes got migraines, and I said, well, just let it process. And then I did a bit of work since she'd emailed me, and the migraine left, which is a wonderful thing because migraines can hang around for a while. But we don't know what the processing will look like, and we're not saying we want this to happen or that to happen or whatever. Remember that everybody has the right to their emotions. So how this plays out for the mother and the daughter is entirely up to, I think, their relationship with how much they want to move forward in life and how much they want to get rid of these things. Because we do know that there's something called self-sabotaging, and some people will do things not that they're even consciously aware of, but it's always like they're always, sometimes we call them drama queens, and, something's always going on. Go ahead, Helena.
Oh, what I want to say is what I find with some of my clients, I'd like to see a lot of people a couple of times.
Yeah.
But when I see my stop smoking clients, and the few ones that are not successful in stopping smoking, there's often a secondary gain from them hanging on to their habit, their behaviors, not moving, because changing a behavior will create some change in their life as well.
Yeah.
And so it brings up some stuff, and they might get frustrated. It's like, why isn't this working? I say I want to stop smoking. I say I want to stop eating the chips and so forth and whatever. And they find, I want to release this weight, and it's just not working. Well, then we look at the hidden gains, or they may be aware of, and they may not even be aware of. But it always comes down to behavior can be changed like that. It becomes a decision. But if there's stuff going on the background, and that's why I find the emotion code so valuable.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the mind is a very interesting tool.
Yep. And it's complicated, right? And it's complicated. Yeah. And I think, you know, I've seen this with my little granddaughter who's 5. She will act out a lot just for the attention, right? She doesn't really need to do that, but depending on what's going in the family, if her little sister is getting too much attention, then there'll be some acting out. She's only doing it, and she'll even do bad things, right? So it may be they're pulling each other's hair or something like that, but it's just for the attention. But there are emotional things, emotions that are trapped in there that are really causing that behavior. But sometimes, with an adult, we can have a mindful conversation, as you do with your clients, Helena, when you're doing the hypnosis, right? You're having a mindful conversation. And you've told me those clients that really don't want to stop smoking sometimes turn around and blame you.
That's right. Yes.
And if they told you, well, I'm not sure this is going to work. Well, law of attraction.
That's right. That's right. Because and that's for another show. Maybe next week's show. I believe next week's show is about, are we talking about procrastination or homework blocks or something?
Homework blocks or business blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then. So let's just go ahead and we'll wrap this up. But I just want to read a comment from Kelly Carson. We'd worked on her quite a while ago, actually. She said, Dan, I'm not sure if you recall when I was having problems walking past that cupboard with the chocolate chips without eating the chocolate. It was months ago. From that session, I've still not touched those except for baking. No more handfuls into my mouth. So we love to hear that. And Helena, I'm getting some nice testimonials from other people. And what I thought we should do, one of our shows, we'll make it a special episode, is on results. And maybe we will ask some viewers to join us.
That would be wonderful. That'd be fun.
So if you're watching this, we will reach out to people as well. But if you'd like to be on the show live with us, you can join us. We can have quite a few people on the show, not just posting. We'll just send you the link. You just need high-speed internet access. And so we'll have some people on, and they can let us know, because I'm getting really nice comments from people, about some of the phobias when we did fears and things like that. So it's nice that those things are being released. And again, Helena and I are doing very short emotion code sessions when we're working with people, but especially on the show. But it's always about the intention, right? And that's when I do my meditation, I'm saying, let me be a clear channel for the highest good of everybody concerned, and then I'm not, I don't know what the outcome will be, right? I have to let that go, because I'm connecting with a higher power. Not my job to say what's going to happen or even predict, although we do know that people do feel better. And as I just read Kelly's, she said, this is something that happened for her. So Kelly's saying she would love to. Okay, good. All right. And I know there's other people that are watching. Kelly May Glover is watching. She might want to come on the show, because I know you've done work with her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. So next week we are looking for somebody that has either homework blocks or business blocks. Helena and I are both entrepreneurs. We know what business blocks can be like. Every entrepreneur has them. They're not exclusive to entrepreneurs either. So, whatever.
Right.
So, thanks so much for joining us. How do people get a hold of you, Helena?
Let me put my face in the sun. You can get a hold of me at flourishhypnosis.com / emotion code, or I have a Facebook page, that's Flourish Hypnosis. I have a YouTube channel, Flourish Hypnosis, as well.
Terrific. And thanks, Helena. You can find me at empoweredwomeninbusiness.com / emotion-code. I'm just going to be putting up my page today for animal emotion code, because I'm really, we all sort of end up having our specialties and something that attracts us more than something else. And I love working with animals. And as I mentioned, I'm also taking an online animal Reiki course right now. So that's been very interesting. So you can also find my YouTube channel. It's Empowered Women in Business, and I have a variety of playlists there. But you can see the Emotion Code Divas from when we first started, from episode 1, even some preliminaries that we did just to get it all started, right? All right, then. Thanks so much, everybody. Please share. We now that it's September, I think we're going to have more viewers and more people interested in what's going on here. So welcome back, everybody. Summer's pretty much over, although we're going to have a few more days here. Yeah.
I'm actually in Whistler, British Columbia today, and the weather report was going to be for rain today.
Oh.
Yeah. So no, the sky is blue and it's sunny and absolutely gorgeous up here.
Yeah. I think we've got a few more days, and we always have a beautiful fall anyway. So bye for now, everybody. Thanks again for watching and for listening.
Bye.